Well, thank you all for coming today to this very important press conference. Now, very often we have been at press conferences that have focused on victims of, for instance, human trafficking. We had a press conference on the Figueroa corridor that focused on the young girls and the young boys who were victims of the human traffickers. We've had press conferences dealing with fentanyl poisoning, where the fentanyl poisoners have attacked and victimized young people. It's the leading killer of someone between the ages of 18 and 45. And we've had press conferences that highlighted the efforts against these particular victimizers. But today we have a sort of unique press conference, a press conference that is focusing on individuals who have committed criminal acts of cruelty against one of the most vulnerable populations out there, and that's the population of animals. These particular individuals, and we'll go through these individuals and their cases, have decided that, that they will engage in acts that if we looked at and they committed against a human, we would find absolutely atrocious. But we have also seen that the acts against animals, the cruelty that is enacted against animals, is often a red flag. It's often a gateway indicator that if you can do this type of cruelty to an animal, the next step is you're going to do this type of cruelty to humans. So we are making a very strong statement today. We have brought 25 different cases over the last 6 weeks against individuals who have engaged in the criminal acts of animal cruelty, including 18 felonies against these individuals, to send the unmistakably clear message that in this county, if you want to commit criminal acts of cruelty against animals, we will find you, we will arrest you, and we will prosecute you and punish you to the full extent of the law. This is a warning message for anyone who wants to engage in this type of conduct, this criminal conduct, that we will not tolerate it. So today we're going to, and when I announce these charges, I want to make something very clear. First, charges are not evidence. Evidence will be presented in a court of law. Everyone who is charged is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty in a court of law. So when you hear me describe the charges that have been brought against a variety of individuals, they are just that, charges at this point. The second thing is that the details of these cases may be very, very hard to hear, but it's important to shed them in order to shine a light on the cruelty inflicted upon these defenseless animals and to reaffirm our commitment to seeking justice on their behalf. I first would like to thank members of my own office, particularly the District Attorney's Target Crimes Division Animal Cruelty Section, led by Kimberly Abarisk, right here, and her outstanding legal team, who's committed incredible amounts of time and energy to bringing these particular culprits to justice. Now, amongst the cases that we have brought in the last 6 weeks include the following. The felony case against Esteban Garcia. He was charged with 1 count of cruelty to animals, and back on April 7th of this year, Mr. Garcia is allegedly captured on video surveillance carrying a 5.5-year-old bulldog, later named Adriana, in an alley behind the 2000 block of East 78th Street in Los Angeles, and purposely dropping her on her head before kicking her, then throwing her into a stack of tires where she was left to die. Later testing showed Adriana had illegal drugs in her system. If convicted as charged, Mr. Garcia faces up to 3 years in county jail. Now, we actually have Adriana here. Adriana is right here. If you can actually, please feel free to bring her forward. It's not often in a press conference that you get to introduce one of the surviving victims. But Adriana survived what she went through with Mr. Garcia. And it is, again, it's not that often you get to pet one of the surviving victims as well. But this is one of the defenseless, vulnerable population of victims that a district attorney's office needs to stand up and be counted to protect. Adriana, we're going to do the best we can on this one to bring you justice and bring everybody who's watched, and these have been videos on social media, and has watched Adriana go through what she has gone through to get to this point. And thank you so much for saving Adriana, for bringing her today, so that she gets to also stand up for all the defenseless animals out there as their representative. Thank you so much. Another case that has been brought has been against Joseph Melnick. He's been charged with 2 felony counts of injuring his girlfriend, 1 felony count of cruelty to an animal, and a misdemeanor count of contempt of court. On April 21st, several weeks ago, at an apartment in Hollywood, Mr. Melnick allegedly threw his girlfriend's 4-year-old terrier mix, Charlie, off a balcony, causing the dog to strike the concrete and die. A medical examination revealed that Charlie had healing injuries consistent with prior abuse. If convicted as charged, Mr. Melnick faces up to 7 years of state prison. Another case, Mark Ibanez, was charged with 1 felony count of cruelty to an animal. Back on March 19th at around 11:24 in the morning, surveillance video allegedly captured Mr. Ibanez dragging a 9-year-old German Shepherd named Leo behind a truck near a business in Santa Fe Springs. Moments later, the dog runs away, and the defendant is allegedly seen holding a sharp object. In a separate video, the German Shepherd appears bleeding. Law enforcement later recovered a 13-inch grass sickle covered in dog hair, matching the object seen in the video. Leo received lacerations to the left side of his forehead and chest. If convicted, Mr. Ibanez faces up to 4 years of state prison. Another case, Michaela Urquidi, was charged with 1 felony count of cruelty to an animal. On August 3rd of 2024 at around 7 p.m., Ms. Urquidi was pet sitting a 22-month-old American bully named Chula in the victim's San Fernando home and is accused of strangling the dog, whose owners returned home and found her dead. If convicted, she faces 3 years in county jail. And we also have the case recently captured on video of charges that were brought against Alexander Cueva of Westminster. He is charged with 1 felony count of cruelty to an animal and faces the special allegation of personal use of a deadly and dangerous weapon, which was a metal leash. On April 21st at 5:50 a.m., as the charges allege, Mr. Cueva is captured on video hoisting his 6 to 8 month old German Shepherd mix, Inara, by the neck with a leash, slamming her to the pavement and kicking her in the face while she lay motionless. He then suspended the dog again and rode away on a skateboard, dragging her out of the frame. If convicted as charged, Mr. Cueva faces up to 4 years of state prison. Now, the other point of today's press conference is that this is not a district attorney's office that is unified with law enforcement and key members of the community who have dedicated their time and their energy to protecting animals. So I'd now like to turn the podium over to Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna.
Thank you, Mr. Hochman, for doing an incredible job, always taking care of our community. And our community, the pets are part of the community as well. You've stated a lot of the facts that have occurred, but just to reiterate the fact that in some of the cases that we've had with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the key was that somebody witnessed the event and decided to call us through 911 or another mechanism. So I really do want to emphasize with our community that if you see somebody hurting a pet, you need to call us. And as you can see from what the district attorney just laid out, not only does law enforcement respond and investigate, but we do turn it over to his office, and you see some of the results that are happening here. But just briefly, over the last several months, our deputies have been working tirelessly on several animal cruelty cases. Their dedication, professionalism, and compassion have led to a thorough investigation, arrest, and the filing of charges that the DA just mentioned. It's amazing that these individuals think they can hurt animals in our communities without consequences. But to be clear, animal cruelty is not a minor issue. It is a reflection of a larger pattern of violence and disregard for life. Our deputies, the members of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, have gone above and beyond, coordinating with animal control, veterinarians, and collaborating with the district attorney's office to ensure that every case that they responded to is investigated thoroughly and successfully prosecuted. But I also, as I began, we wouldn't be here today without the assistance from our community. You are our eyes and ears. And it was critical for our deputies to respond once they had information in one of our cases that dealt with cockfighting, and the other one that dealt with, and the DA already mentioned it, somebody who just brutally attacked a dog, one of our pets. So again, your assistance is always greatly appreciated, and I really appreciate all of your assistance. And I'll leave the other details for if anybody asks any questions, but the DA already laid a lot of those out. With that, I'd like to introduce Los Angeles Police Department Deputy Chief Alan Hamilton.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to speak briefly on behalf of the Los Angeles Police Department. But first, I want to make a note of one of the issues that we see with a lot of these animal cruelty cases. Quite often you will see that there's other abuse going on in the house, as you saw in the Hollywood case. So here on the Los Angeles Police Department, again, we take animal cruelty cases very seriously. In prior years, we used to have an animal cruelty task force. Unfortunately, those resources had to be reallocated. However, we do have subject matter experts available to assist our geographic detectives with their investigations as needed. They're often complex, but they're no different than when we do our other investigations. We have provided training through the years to make sure that our detectives and our officers are well trained in investigating these types of cases. Again, as previously stated, one of the most important points of evidence that we often encounter are witnesses from the community. So there are various ways you can provide information to our detectives, to our officers during a radio call, during a follow-up investigation. You can provide information to the stations. You can also provide information through Crime Stoppers anonymously. But these cases hinge on the evidence that we collect at scene at the time these incidents occur. That includes video, obviously, but also implements that are used to torture animals, to abuse them. We want to retain all of that evidence to make sure that we have that available for criminal prosecution down the road. So very, very important. We work very closely with our partners in animal services in the city of Los Angeles in conducting our investigations. And we make sure that they are informed and they're investigating in our cases as well. And in terms of our expertise, we make sure that the officers and detectives that are retaining the expertise go out and provide supplemental training to our geographic detectives. So they're available both as a resource when these cases occur, and they're available for training prior to these incidents occurring. We're very diligent with our training coordinators throughout our geographic areas to make sure that information, as well as training aids, which we provide through the department, are available to our detectives as well. We've had great success filing felony and misdemeanor cases here in the city of Los Angeles with the assistance from the district attorney's office and District Attorney Hochman. And even though we've had reduced resources and we no longer have the task force since 2021, we will continue to endeavor to do the best we can in terms of investigation whenever we run across these animal cruelty incidents. And I'm going to kind of close with this. A lot of us up here are animal owners. We have our own pets. I have a boxer at home. I grew up around dogs, and I want to make sure the community understands that when you see someone abusing an animal, it's quite often a linkage between them abusing other family members and other people around them. So Please be cognizant of these incidents occurring in the community. Assist law enforcement through whatever means you think are appropriate. And if there is evidence or anything like that or any information, please point that out to law enforcement as you observe these types of activities in the community. So I'm going to pass it over to Long Beach Chief Wally Hebish, and he's going to provide information regarding Long Beach.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Deputy Chief Hamilton. I'm not going to repeat a lot of what I heard today regarding the importance of the community, law enforcement, and the District Attorney's Office working together on cases like this. I do want to thank the District Attorney, Nathan Hochman. I appreciate you inviting us here to join you in this press conference, and for your ongoing commitment demonstrating that accountability continues even after an arrest is made. Our city and our region was collectively saddened to watch the now viral video depicting such an appalling act of animal cruelty. Our police department immediately responded, and I want to thank our many officers, detectives, and members of our professional staff who worked nonstop to help us identify, locate, and arrest this suspect, and more importantly, to rescue this abused, vulnerable little dog. I'd also like to thank Long Beach Animal Care Services, who didn't hesitate in responding to this incident and ensuring the abused pup was given the care and support it needed. We're also grateful for our Long Beach community, who played a critical role in sharing information and helping us locate the suspect responsible for this heartbreaking crime. In our city and in our region, we refuse to tolerate acts of violence such as this, and we'll hold offenders accountable for their actions. Lastly, I want to share that the dog in the video, who captured so many of our hearts, is recovering nicely in a foster home where she's lovingly been renamed Rue. Thank you for helping us share this story.
Thank you. So in hearing from the leaders of law enforcement, not just in Los Angeles City, but Los Angeles County and Long Beach, I hope it's clear to anyone thinking of engaging in animal cruelty at the front of the law enforcement and district attorney's combination team is going to come after you. When we say that we are not going to tolerate this conduct, we actually mean it. But as each of the law enforcement officers said, we can't do it by ourselves. That it turns out in this particular area of enforcement, of actually figuring out where the criminal violations are, who's actually going ahead and engaging in this cruelty to animals, we really need the help of the public. In fact, some of the videos that were put out there were instrumental in helping law enforcement capture and ultimately arrest many of the people who we've arrested over the last 6 weeks. One of the people that's been very, very involved in the community that has put a spotlight on animal cruelty is Chris Kelly. And she's here today, and I call her up, please. She's the head of the Chris Kelly Foundation.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Chris Kelly, founder of the Chris Kelly Foundation. I'm here today with deep gratitude to stand beside District Attorney Nathan Hochman and thank him for taking a clear and courageous stance against animal cruelty in Los Angeles. For far too long, those of us in animal rescue have carried this weight on our shoulders alone. We spent countless days and sleepless nights saving lives, pulling abused dogs from yards, rushing injured animals to vets, documenting cruelty when no one else would. But no matter how hard we work, we cannot do it all. That's why today is different. Today we stand by a district attorney who is not just talking about compassion, he's turning it into prosecution. Real consequences, real accountability. This is how change begins. To the public, this is where you come in. We need you. We need your eyes, your voices, your phones, and videos. If you see something, say something. Call animal control. Call the police. Taking video of the abuse is extremely important, and it's your right. Demand a response and don't take no for an answer. Please don't ever assume that someone else will step in. That animal that is being abused is counting on you to take the video of the abuse, which is so important, and to make that call. We've all heard the excuse, it's just an animal, but we know better. These beings feel pain, they suffer. They trust us and depend on us to protect them. When we ignore their suffering, we erode the moral fabric of our community. The truth is, animal cruelty doesn't happen in isolation. It's often the warning sign of violence in the home, of instability, of danger. By taking cruelty seriously, we're not just protecting animals, we're protecting children, families, entire neighborhoods. So today I want to thank District Attorney Nathan Hochman, not just on behalf of every rescue, but on the behalf of every silent victim, every abused dog chained in a yard, every kitten abandoned on the street. Your voice, your action, your commitment matters more than you know. And I want to thank all of you here because this moment, this partnership between law enforcement and rescue, between prosecutors and citizens, is how we change a culture together. Let's move forward with courage. Let's be the city that refuses to look away. Let's be the ones who never stay silent. Thank you.
And Chris, thank you very much for those words. And we will do our best to give a voice to the defenseless animals, not just today, but every day. I'd now like to call up Rebecca Corey. She is the founder of Stand Up for Pits Foundation. She will be holding her rescue dog, Todd, and Ms. Corey will bring her up with well-known animal activist Andrea Pett.
Thank you so much for having me today. I am Rebecca Corey, the Executive Director of the Stand Up for Pits Foundation, and my charity and myself personally have been serving LA City and County for 15 years, in addition to providing solutions, funding, supplies, getting pit bull type dogs seen and saved. We have also been combating animal cruelty to the best of our ability. The Stand Up for Pits Los Angeles dogfighting tip line launched in 2015 and is available to residents all year round. We have live Spanish and English speaking operators, and viable tips that are provided and vetted are given to the proper agencies who have the authority to investigate those tips and prosecute. But our resources, as we all know, are limited, especially since Los Angeles does not have an animal cruelty task force. I would be lying if I didn't say it's a bit devastating after 15 years to be here, but it is encouraging to have a district attorney who's willing to stand up and say that animal cruelty is not going to be tolerated, and to have the support of law enforcement who's willing to also get involved in that. So thank you so much, so much for doing that. I also think it's really important to understand that abusers are everywhere. People abuse animals in private, people abuse animals in public. Private abusers, are in every demographic, every tax bracket, every age group, and are different ethnicities and genders. It's important to remember that animal abusers are not just a certain kind of monster that we picture in our mind. They're all very different. They're your family members, neighbors, teachers, animal control officers, oftentimes law enforcement, veterinarians, and they can even be rich pro athletes. These cowardly abusers do their abusing in private, and where there is animal abuse, as everyone has already said, there is also other crime: domestic violence, child abuse, assault, arson, theft. The list goes on and on and on. So whether you like dogs or you like animals at all, this does affect you. This affects your loved ones. And I can't be here and not also mention the horrifying public abuse that is happening in Los Angeles daily to many dogs on Skid Row. Dogs are being force-bred, sold, starved. They are infected, fought, and being raped by humans. Yes, they are being raped by humans on our city streets. On any given day, you can see dogs tied up on heavy chains and on short ropes, crammed in wire crates, living without food, water, and shelter, laying in their own vomit and waste, and the suffering is unthinkable and has been going on for years and continues to be ignored. So it's important that we also include that form of abuse as being acknowledged, because you can't solve it until it is. And sadly, instead of the city removing the dogs and taking help that we've offered, many of the abusers are cramming their dogs into crates that were supplied by city shelters. So my organization has spent tens and thousands of dollars on helping these dogs and have offered solutions and help, none of which has been accepted at this point. But this press conference and People like this give me hope that it will, and that the suffering will stop. The suffering and cruelty being inflicted on animals who are being abused privately and publicly is preventable and cannot be allowed to worsen and continue to be ignored. As I said, the DA acknowledging the cruelty epidemic happening in Tinseltown, the land of dreams, the land of the rich and the famous, is a positive, much-needed, accepted step. And now, real actions have to be taken to end it. As an abuse survivor of an animal abuser myself, I want you all to understand what I'm about to say, and you can print it and quote it, that animal abuse, as many of these amazing people up here have said, it is directly related to human abuse. They are one and the same. And even though our society likes to think that one is more important than the other, they are equally important. As everyone has said, those who abuse animals will likely and most oftentimes do go on to commit crimes against humans. That means you, your loved ones, and your communities are not safe as long as animal abusers are in them. What is happening is not an animal welfare issue. It's not for the crazy dog people to solve. This is, or the non-profit sector to solve. If that was possible, it would already be fixed. This is a societal issue. While the system and many leaders in Los Angeles need fixing, people need to support those who are trying to help. Stop whining from behind your computers and get off your ass and be the change you want to see. There's always something everyone can do, and if everyone does their part, the real change will happen. And before I leave, I just want to say a few things about what you can do. You can rent a film called Saving Jones. It's a documentary film that discusses this exact topic that we're talking about today, how human abuse and animal abuse are directly related. As they've said, report abuse to the proper agencies when you see it or suspect it. Donate to orgs who educate, advocate, save lives, and fight cruelty. Volunteer at your local shelter, foster and adopt, support spay and neuter solution-driven efforts, and encourage others to do the same. I want to thank you, Kim, for recommending me to be here to speak on behalf of my foundation and what I believe in, and again, the DA for allowing Todd and I and Andrea to come and speak on this issue. And I look forward to being a part of a solution and helping you all however I can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll now take questions, and when we're done with questions, we'll have a member of the DA's office translate this into Spanish for the Spanish media. Yes?
What sections of the penal code fall under animal abuse for these misdemeanor or felony charges? And if you get people for felony animal abuse, what are they looking at in the way of incarceration?
So the felonious animal abuse will fall under Penal Code Section 597A. Other penal code sections also involve animal fighting under 597B, subsection A. You have different, again, misdemeanors involving with negligence under Penal Code Sections 597B and 597.1. And those would be people basically who've been in charge of an animal and subject it to needless suffering, or inflict unnecessary cruelty, or fail to provide the animal with proper food, drink, or shelter, with actions that are dramatically different from how a reasonable person would have behaved in the same situation. We have other types of penal code sections that deal with the selling, the improper selling or giving away of an animal, and others dealing with animal abandonment. So these are, the felony sections are state prison eligible. When I said that certain individuals are looking at somewhere between 3, 4, and depending on the crime, 7 years of state prison, those are the types of sentences that can be given out by judges in these cases. Even in the misdemeanors, they are looking at certainly the potential of county jail time.
Is this something we have to train sheriff's deputies and other law enforcement officers? The first responders who are out there see something. They see an animal abused when they're dealing with something else. Wait a minute here. Start to elevate the investigation. Advise the detectives of what they're seeing within the house with the animal, if it might link it to, effects against people.
Sheriff?
Pete, that's exactly why we're here. That's exactly what our deputies did. They responded, they made their observations, and they didn't stop there. They turned it over to the detectives, started working with animal control, and I think I could speak for both LAPD and Long Beach. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going on, and that's exactly why we're bringing these cases forward. That's exactly what happened, and we're going to continue to do that.